Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. In just a moment, I am going to walk my happy butt over to the futon to check out the Shudder original, Dark Match. Dark Match is written and directed by Lowell Dean, and it tells the story of a group of amateur wrestlers who go to a small town for a wrestling match, only to find out that that small town is being ruled by an evil cult leader played by Chris Jericho. And this evil cult leader has dark intentions for said wrestling match. Guys, this movie looks like it is going to be downright brutal, gory, and to be perfectly honest, that doesn't sound like a bad idea to me. So you know what is enough of me sitting here jibber-jabbering on. My faithful movie companion Haku is patiently waiting for me over by the futon. So it's enough of the jibber-jabber. It is time for me to head over there to check out the Shudder original, Dark Match. Welcome back. Just getting done watching Dark Match, and guys, while I didn't love this movie, I didn't hate this movie either. This film falls right there in the middle for me. So let's get this started, shall we? We're going to get things started with negatives, then move into the positives to end the video on the ever so important high note. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about in this film is the pacing. The beginning of this film feels like it moves so slow, and I hate to say that. There is a lot of character development and world building all that goes on in there, but as the film progresses, you kind of learn that all of that world building at the beginning of the film really didn't matter, so it just kind of feels like, you know, time killer for the beginning of the movie so we could get to at least an hour and 30 minutes. Because that's kind of the thing here. There wasn't necessarily an hour and 30 minutes worth of stuff going on in this movie. If they would have made the matches run a little bit longer, we might have had a little bit more runtime. Because in all honesty, that's what I thought this movie was going to be like. I thought we were going to have just a little bit of a beginning, kind of, hey, here's how things are going to be going. Oh, we just got this deal. We're going to go to this town to do this crazy dark match. And if you don't know what the meaning of dark match, it's a wrestling term from the best of my knowledge. It just means a wrestling match that isn't televised or videotaped or whatever. It's just a live event, and only the people that are there at this live event get to see the match. So that's what this is. They're okay, we're going to go to this dark match at this hotel or whatever. They get there, they find out it's this cult and all. But it takes a lot longer than that sounds to get there. In all honesty, that whole thing should have been like 15 minutes of the movie. All right, we didn't really need a lot of the stuff that they put in there. When we finally get to the place that we're going, then there's more world building that goes on inside, which is fine. Again, we need the world building, but again, a movie like this doesn't necessarily need to spend that much time doing things. So we finally get around to our first match, and this is where I feel the movie shines, and a little thing that I noticed, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but once the matches finally start up, that's where things start to get interesting. And I'm not just talking about these practical effects and all of the carnage and things of that sort. It's just like that's where finally the story feels like it's finally getting to where it's supposed to be going. And then when we get to the matches, I think that this was cool, but unfortunately it also kind of slowed the film down a little bit because of the pacing at the beginning of the film. We have a match, things are bloody gory, and it's fun to watch, lots of ooh moments and all, and then we go behind the scenes where drama occurs. Then we go to another match. And what I liked about that, so this is kind of a mixed, I guess you could say, what I liked about that was it kind of made you feel like you were sitting down and watching something like WWE Raw. You would have your match, and then it would go to the locker rooms where the Undertaker would be standing there fuming at Kane or something, and then we would go to the next match. And it would just kind of move on from there. You know, you would have a match, drama, and it kept the storylines and all going. And the film does do something like that. When you get to the matches, it divides it all up into different matches, which makes sense and all later on down the road. But then between each match, we have a little bit of drama. But if the beginning of this film would have taken a little bit less time getting there, it wouldn't have made this film feel so kind of slow to where you almost feel like, you know what, I might just give up on this thing, because it takes 40 minutes to get to that first fight, and this movie is just around an hour and 34 minutes, and 5 minutes of that, I believe, is, credits. So this movie does spend way too much time building things up to where it's getting to. Also, our villain, played by Chris Jericho. While I do like Chris Jericho when he's in the ring with the mic, this film doesn't really give him a lot to work with. He's just a bad dude. And yes, we do finally get a little of his wrestling talent near the end of this film, at the climax of this film in the third act. He does start talking a lot more, and we start getting a lot more of what we know from a character like him, and it just seems a little too late in my opinion. This guy should have been just yakking it up through the entire film. Really lean into the silliness of what's going on, because the movie also takes itself a little too seriously throughout the film, which can be fine, but in a movie again like this, which should just be a cheesy, gory good time, I feel like the movie tries to take itself way too seriously for it to really be as good of a time as you would like it to be. The wrestling in this film is fairly well done. I think our actors in this film do a good job with all the acrobatics and all. It seemed like it was them. I don't know. Maybe some stunt doubles were used in there somewhere, or maybe, I don't know. I haven't followed wrestling in a long time, so the actors in this movie might be amateur wrestlers, but with someone like Chris Jericho involved in the film, I'm sure he helped out with coaching and all, so that does look good if you're wondering, if you're a wrestling fan. But unfortunately, those matches aren't long enough. We needed a little bit more of the fighting to really make this film feel like a wrestling movie. And if they were trying to go for that entire, like, you're sitting there watching Monday Night Raw, is that right? Is it still Monday Night Raw? I don't know anymore. Like I said, I haven't followed WWE in a minute, unfortunately. So anyways, if they were going for that vibe, it would have been a lot better to get a much more better choreographed match or something out there. I think that would have really helped with this film a little bit, with the pacing, keep you kind of interested in what's going on. Now, let's move into the positives. All in all, this movie does have some fun elements to it. There are some things that I did enjoy. The cast in this film is good. I did enjoy, even though they were short, I did enjoy the wrestling matches. The choreography was well done, and I do believe that probably had a lot to do with the coaching of Chris Jericho. I saw in the credits that he was executive producer, but anywho, they probably had somebody working with them, with the staff and all. So all of that did look really tight and well done. Also, the practical effects in this film are extremely well done. If you just want to watch a movie with some really great gory candy for you, this is the movie for you. If you're just sitting down, afternoon, not a whole hell of a lot to do, you just want to kill some time, and you want to watch a little bit of carnage, this is a good movie for that. It just takes a little while to get there. All in all, the film is entertaining where it's supposed to be entertaining. And then it comes to my biggest complaint, and this is me personally, so that's why I waited till near this ending here to say this, but the ending of this film just didn't set right with me. I thought the film was going in a certain area, and you gotta see it for me. I don't want to spoil anything. It didn't ruin the movie by any means. You still get all of those good fights and all the fun stuff that comes with that. You still get what this film's really good at is just the carnage in itself, to be perfectly honest. You still get all of that and everything. It's just the last couple of minutes of this movie do something that I'm like, it just basically did a all right, we're in it like that, okay, kind of moment. You know what I'm saying? That was just kind of like that for me. So, in all honesty, guys, this isn't an absolutely terrible watch if you go into this with the understanding that where this movie definitely shines is in the ring, with the carnage, with the brutality. But if you're looking for something with a really intense story, with great characters that you're going to be rooting for, well, they're not bad characters. I shouldn't say that. I did find myself kind of rooting for them also. There is some character arcs and so on and everything, so I can't say that too awful much. But at the end of the day, if you're looking for a movie with a bit more depth to it than just carnage and blood and guts, this is probably not the film for you. But if you just want to spend an hour and a half watching some dudes get the shit kicked out of them, then this is probably what you're up for. This is probably for you. It's probably something you should check out. It's currently streaming on Shudder. Is it the kind of movie that you should get a membership for? Again, I don't know. For me, this movie's kind of 50-50. Well, alright guys, thanks again for checking out the Film Geek. If you like what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up so I know you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you can do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna.